Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to The Looney Turtle. I actively watch at least 150 analysts, and I have to say, when Philly Vanilli came out, everyone had at least something to say about Pinkie Pie's portrayal. For me, Pinkie was in character, but it was a bit jarring because it wasn't a side of her that we usually see. At the surface, she was doing the exact opposite of this. But if you look at this scene, Fluttershy is definitely not crying as extremely as we were led to believe. If we look even deeper, we can take into account how Pinkie Pie might not be able to interpret emotions as well as the ponies around her.
What are you talking about?
Way back in A Friend Indeed, Pinkie was trying to help a donkey that didn't want to be bothered. She didn't appear to notice his unhappy, get-out-of-my-face attitude, leading me to believe that even though she loves to make people smile, she can't read emotions very well. Heck, the same obliviousness can be seen in Pinkie Pride.
Rainbow Dash, since the winner will be headlining your party, you are the judge.
Big, tense competition on my birth-anniversary. What could be better?
Rainbow was obviously unhappy with the competition to begin with, but it took an entire song for Pinkie to realize that Dash wasn't having any fun. Now, keeping that piece of Pinkie's character into account, her actions, for me at least, aren't out of character.
Huh? What?
Well, Pinkie was giving an overblown explanation of what would happen to Fluttershy if she got on stage. In turn, Fluttershy rolled into a ball and started to get misty eyes. Then, within seconds, Pinkie's overblown nature was excused by Rarity asking Fluttershy to join the Ponytones, making it so Pinkie didn't really think twice and, well, the show said it best.
Pinkie Pie! Don't be ridiculous!
Aw, but I'm so good at it!
She was just being ridiculous. It's really what Pinkie Pie does best. Then, later in the episode, Pinkie was giving actually the same overblown explanation that she had given earlier, except this time it's in the past tense and talking about how it must have felt. To be honest, I don't think she was far off.
That was totally unbelievable! I mean, the curtain came up, and there you were, singing in front of every pony! And you know, I don't think any pony was jealous, because there certainly wasn't an angry mob, but it must have been horrible standing there on stage, all eyes glued directly on you. It's like you were living your own personal worst nightmare!
If Pinkie hadn't been excused earlier, I may have had a problem with this, but she wasn't, and hadn't realized what she had just done. This time though, there are no excuses and Fluttershy breaks into full-on crying mode. At this point, Pinkie Pie knows that she did something wrong.
What? Too much?
That could have been managed better. The way that it's said makes it seem that Pinkie doesn't have a lot of sympathy for her now crying friend, but the animation helps further the point that she knows she screwed up. Then we see that Pinkie didn't realize that she could have said things differently.
What Pinkie meant to say was that you were really great.
Wait, didn't I say that?
Hardly.
Whoops.
Every person in the world can make mistakes in their word choice. For example, a while ago I was in a Skype call and someone was asking me for advice. There was this individual with a speech impairment that made it less than favorable for singing. He didn't want to soil their friendship, so he asked me for advice. He wanted to know what he should say, and at one point I asked, what's her problem? Meaning, what impaired her voice? What prevented her from speaking normally or singing normally? In my mind, I was intending to find out if the person had braces or other things that could change over time, but in the moment, what's her problem was the word choice that came to mind. The same thing could have happened to Pinkie Pie. She was blowing things out of proportion, intending to help Fluttershy feel better about how things turned out. To tell her that she was great and should feel accomplished that she beat her fears, but instead she said, "Oh yeah, we've heard it enough." It may be out of character, but that doesn't mean that she would never make this kind of mistake. She made a mistake. As a viewer, I appreciate her character a little bit more for not being perfect. I mean, we'd be debating a completely different topic if that was the case. Now that I've done that, I'd like to spotlight that this is a great way to explain a character being portrayed incorrectly. I didn't just look at the first scene and say out of character, I actually broke the two scenes down and justified my reasoning to the point that I changed my own perception of the scene. Personally, I don't see Pinkie Pie as a bad character or even out of character by blowing things out of proportion. Then by analyzing the scene, I found that my personal interpretation clouded the facts. Even with all that said, I want to stress that out of character isn't a 5-second thing that you put into your analysis, review, or speculation videos. Step back and see if your personal interpretation is clouding the facts. If you don't want to think about it, then it would be better to use more personal terms like "it felt wrong" or "this was jarring," because unless you're really analyzing the scene, you could be assuming that they're out of character when they're not. If you want to hear another video about a specific term, then head on over to my friend Camghost Pony's channel to learn about Deus Ex Machinas. Before you go, make sure to like, favorite, or let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll say a little bit more in the end card. So, yesterday marks the 5-year anniversary of my first YouTube video. I can't believe that it's been that long, but it's right there, so wow. It kinda makes me reflect.
I'm new, don't really know what to do.
No regrets. But reflection is good. I mean, I would have done my first video completely different compared to how it would be done today, and that's because I've been experimenting and learning what I can and can't do with my editing program. If there's any advice I could give someone about creating artwork, animations, videos, voice acting, or really any form of media, it would be this. If you can't look at your previous work without feeling that you've improved in some way, try something new with it. Spice your creations up and find things that keep you moving forward, instead of into a rut. With that said, don't forget to subscribe or check out one of these videos, and I'll see you next time. As Alicorn, Celestia and Luna have a few special powers, like aging slower, getting cutie marks later in life, and somehow having the lungs for the Royal Canterlot voice.
His travel-worn body. A knock at the door broke him away from his near sleep. A whisper followed.
Chase, it's been a long time. You didn't drown or anything, did you?
The stallion sighed happily. No, I'm fine, thanks.